Today's show.
We discuss Harden's gruesome eye injury, Steph's dislocated finger, and whether we have any confidence left in the Rockets' chances.
Did the supporting cast win Game 2 for Milwaukee? Does a bad game for Kyrie guarantee a Celtics loss? Is there such a thing as a Giannis stopper?
And in Crossfire, we debate which conference semifinal series is most likely to go 7.
It's Wednesday, May 1st. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniels, Old Number 7, and Tennessee Honey. I'm J.E. Skeets. Alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis. We got the Aussie, Lee Ellis, and over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Trey, what's up?
Well, I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag the starters. And guys, all eyes were on the refs for last night's Game 2 between the Warriors and Rockets. And for the most part, everyone was well behaved and the officials did an excellent job. But there was one classic ref moment when Ed Malloy hit Draymond Green and Nene with a quick double tech punctuated by his signature double point technical foul. The double techs were rescinded almost immediately today, but the double technical double point has kind of become Malloy's signature move, as he did something similar early in the playoffs. The very first game between the Warriors and Clippers hit Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley with the jumping jack ejection. And that brings us to today's question. What is your favorite ref move? Like, for instance, the most classic of all ref moves, Joey Crawford hopping through a block call back in 2012. This is amazing. Woo, 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 woo. He travels about 20 feet, 25 feet just to lay down that block call, and it was the right call. But we want to hear from you, so let us know on Twitter, what is your favorite referee move? Send them to us at hashtag the starters. We'll hear from you later.
All right, get your tweets in. On tonight's show, we're going to discuss the Bucks bouncing back in Game 2, tying up that series versus the Celtics. Tass and I will step into the crossfire. We got Lee's very solid play. But let's start with a little what you got here on Wednesday night. If you're new to the show, we're going to debate a few NBA playoff questions that Trey's going to throw at us. Ultimately pick an answer, but you got to be careful. There's only one correct response, and that's whatever Trey says it is. TK, take it away.
The Rockets shot a higher percentage than the Warriors in Game 2. They made more threes than the Warriors in Game 2, and they had more players scoring double figures than the Warriors did in Game 2, and it didn't matter at all, as the Warriors won Game 2, maintaining home court advantage as the series heads to Houston. So guys, where's your confidence at in the Rockets? Is it high? Is it low? Or is this thing over? What you got?
It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Let's go home. I mean, it's over in the sense I don't see the Rockets coming back to win this series. Maybe they put up a little fight, but I think they had to get one of those splits because we know, looking back at the Rockets sort of past, in series, they always win at least one road game. And I'd be shocked if they don't win a Game 3 or Game 4. There were a couple of these games were there for the taking for the Rockets, and they unfortunately didn't take advantage of it.
Well, it's Game 1.
It's ultimately over.
Game 1, they should have taken
Yes,
it. Game 2, it was... They didn't show up with enough effort. We can talk about James Harden's eyeball, but I think deep down they know that they come into Game 1 with the Steph Curry ankle turn, Klay Thompson an ankle turn. Yeah. They've got the rest advantage, and they don't win that game. And that's why you see that lack of effort, I think, coming into Game 2. You give the best team in the world 14 extra possessions in the first half, 14 offensive rebounds. How are you supposed to win? Right. You literally cannot win. We can talk about Harden's eye, but in that first half, they won it with the effort.
Yeah, but I remember last year as well, the Rockets had the Warriors beaten up, really, and if it wasn't for Chris Paul's hamstring, maybe they go on to win that series. So I think the Warriors come into this series knowing that they can be beaten by Houston. So they came in, Steve Kerr makes Andre Iguodala.
He started in right
defending him straight away. Iggy basically hasn't played much this season, certainly in that same role, because they're saving him for a situation like this. And he goes on James Harden and affects him. And also the Warriors, and Kevin Durant's been playing out of his mind lately. They know that this is a series that this team is capable of taking them down. So they came in a lot more focused, even though they didn't have as much rest as they would have liked. They went an extra game there with the Clippers, and they know that the Rockets team love to get out and shoot threes, and when they get rolling, they're a dangerous team. So I think the Warriors just came in with a bigger focus, but I don't think this series is over just yet.
So your confidence is what? Low?
Low. It's not high, sure. But but the thing is, the Warriors, all they've done is win the 2 games they're supposed to win. They go back to Houston now, and if the Rockets can win 3 and 4, then this is a series that's right back on. Remember last year as well, the Rockets, 2-1, they were down in that series, and they fought back to go 3-2 up. So they've been down before, they've looked bad, and they've been able to come back. They just need to get back to some home cooking, start playing their game, and get off to a better start, and I think this series could be back on.
To me, this feels a little bit like the NBA Finals where the Cavs gave away Game 1, they knew it, and it was just downhill from there. And all that ref talk, I think, just got the Warriors a little bit amped up for Game 2. Right. I don't think it did anybody any favors except the guys in gold.
possible. I will look at, I guess I'll play devil's advocate. You're the Rockets, you're going back home. You've lost combined 2 games here by combined 10 points. You were in these games. You put up a fight. Never in game 2 did it feel like the Rockets were going to take the lead, oddly in that. It was like a 3-point game there in the fourth quarter. Then the wedgie happened, and then the Warriors went on a 10-1 run. I don't know, the starter's bump was real there, I guess. But no, I think it is over. I really do. And they had to take one of those. And especially because I look at the Warriors and I go, they haven't had a game yet where they've exploded from 3-point land. Game 1, not great, 32%. Game 2, 31%. Curry and Klay, they've had fine games, but it's been KD leading them offensively.
Yeah.
And Draymond and Iguodala playing their part. But aren't they due at some point for your 8 or 9 threes?
Well,
like, that's going to happen.
That's going to happen. But remember as well, they lost 2 games that we didn't expect in that first round to the Clippers. So the Warriors can also have games where things just don't work for them and they sort of lose focus a little bit. I mean, a 31-point lead at home to the Clippers, no one saw that coming. And then even that game 5, again, they lost at home. So the Rockets know that there are a few weaknesses on that Warriors team, but they've just got to get onto them a little earlier. They can't be chasing them and trying to catch up. They've got to get off to a better start.
We've got to talk about James Harden's eye, because it was extremely unfortunate that he missed 11 minutes of game time. But they were down when he left, 17-8.
Yeah.
And he scored 29 points after the injury. Zero before and 29 after. Yeah, he hit the same amount of shots that he did in game 1 with no eye injury. So maybe it's better if he can't see. But
Someone's D'Antoni's going to poke him in the eye.
Yeah,
I just think there was no chance. Whatever James Harden was going
Right.
to do out there just wasn't enough help and too much Warriors in this one.
Trey, what's the answer to this? Where's the confidence?
Lee made some really good points, but this thing is over. You're not beating the Warriors 4 times in 5 games with Kevin Durant playing as well as he has. But moving on, the Warriors started the Hamptons 5 for the 2nd straight game, and once again, it totally paid off. Draymond Green went for 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists, was flying around on defense. Andre Iguodala put up 16, 5, and 4 while holding his own personal dunk contest. Both these guys were in chill mode during the regular season. Who's been the bigger surprise, Draymond or Iguodala? What you got?
I think it's Iguodala. You said the Rockets last year were up 2-1. Or excuse me, down 2-1.
Yeah.
And then they came back and they were up 3-2. What happened there? I know Chris Paul gets talked about a lot in
He
that
got
series.
injured.
Iguodala got injured. I called it Iggy's revenge on the Drop podcast. He is locked in. He's shooting 75% through these first 2 games. Because
this is not a surprise
for
then.
11 months, 11 months,
Yeah.
he had to hear, oh, what happens if Chris Paul doesn't pop his hamstring there, sprains his hamstring? Oh, the Rockets probably win. Then they go on to win the finals. And Iguodala's going, what about me? If I'm playing, I think we win in 5 if I don't get hurt there at the end of game 3. I think he's right, too. And he's showing us, he's trying to prove a point is what I'm getting at here. He's been great. So a bit of surprise because look at his numbers in the regular season. I mean, he just sort of completely checks out. He doesn't need to put his
Yeah, they don't.
energy in.
But that's what Andre Iguodala does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we knew he was going to turn on the postseason. I think Draymond Green was more of a surprise because there was a lot of talk about Draymond Green falling off from that all-star level throughout the regular season. Then he decided to get on that Draymond Green workout plan from March 1st to April 15th. As
Yeah.
he said, that 6-week workout plan, said, I'm good for the postseason, and shut everybody up.
Yeah, but he also talks about I don't care about guys that play 82 games. Give me the guys that can play 16 games. So
Yeah.
he also does the same thing where he's like, the regular season at this point means nothing to us.
Yeah.
It's all about the playoffs.
I think he's been doing it for years, though.
Yeah, no, but he wasn't really all defensive chat this year, Draymond Green. He wasn't even close to making the All-Star game. So you wondered if he was just a little out of shape and not really interested. But now, since the playoffs come, in that first round against the Clippers, he was also very good.
Both guys have been great. Trey, what's the answer?
I'm going with Andre Iguodala. No one expected him to be leading the entire postseason in dunks in 2019. Pretty crazy. Moving on. Team trainers earned their paychecks last night. On the Warriors side, Steph Curry dislocated his left middle finger in the first quarter. Game 2 had him looking like a Tetris piece was attached to his hand. On the Rockets side, James Harden got raked across the face by Draymond Green, which apparently left Harden bleeding from the eyes. Guys, what was the weirder injury? Was it Curry's finger or Harden's eyes? What you got?
Well, they're both kind of gross. The thing with the finger injury, though, that's, when you see a gross injury, sometimes you don't even want to look at it. With a finger, it's kind of common and they just pop it back in.
Right.
It's not like one of those ankles or knees that we see. So that to me is always funny when you just see a digit kind of pointing off in the other direction.
Well, we've seen also like Lionel Hollins. You ever seen Lionel Hollins' hands
Yeah.
or Sean Marion's hands? Like they're still jacked up.
Yeah.
So that happens. I got to go with the gruesome eye injury to Harden. Only because, we see guys dislocate fingers. We see guys get poked in the eye even once in a while. It's rare to see a guy get poked in sort of both eyes and then the cut on the one and his both eyes were bloodshot. I go with Harden, even though it sort of didn't affect him. He played pretty well.
Yeah, when we talk about finger injuries, usually you see it like a Lionel Hollins or Sean Marion where it's pointing, perpendicular, a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
This is just way out above the knuckle. It's just pulled out. It's a rare one.
You're going with
We
the
got a
finger.
couple weirdos.
Yeah, I am, because you just, pop it back in, strap it up, and then he goes out there and plays. But James Harden was kind of tough to look at him in the eyes last night, 'cause it was like, ugh.
Couldn't look at your TV?
Look him in the eyes,
No, I
Lee. Trey, what's the answer?
Oh, it's definitely Steph Curry's finger for me. At least James Harden's eyes are in the right place. Steph Curry's finger took a right turn.
Fair point. Fair point. All right, we got to take a break. Lots more still to come on the starters tonight. When we come back, we're going to discuss Giannis and the Bucks bouncing back to tie their series with the Celtics at 1 game apiece. Lots to come. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
Welcome back to the starters, where it's time to play a little true or false with last night's Game 2 between the Bucks and Celtics. Let's get into it. After holding Giannis Antetokounmpo to 22 points on 21 shots in Game 1, people called Al Horford the Giannis stopper. Last night, not so much. Giannis went for 29 points on 7 of 16 shooting. True or false? There's no such thing as a Giannis stopper.
Well, it's false, but sometimes it's true.
What?
It's false. Sometimes it's true, though, because he has bad games, because Al Horford stopped him in Game 1.
The Giannis slower.
Yeah, but he couldn't stop him in Game 2, because that's what superstars do in the 7-game series. You might lose a game, you might play badly, but you respond and you come back. And what Giannis did last night, I think, is a little more patient. I think he was still aggressive, but he also kind of knew what the defense the Celtics were going to play at him, and he knew he had to be a little bit better than he was in Game 1 and not try to maybe force the action as much. So, you can definitely stop a guy for a game or so, but can you stop him in a series? That's going to be the big question going forward, because even though the series is 1-1, these 2 games in Boston, I feel still fairly confident about Boston because of what we saw last season. We know that that's a very tough environment to play in, and Giannis, as good as he was last night, is going to have to be even better, I think, in these next 2 games.
The Bucks faced no real adversity in round 1 against the Pistons, and that's what happened in Game 1. Giannis wasn't just stopped himself. Al Horford didn't come out and say, "Hey, I'm going to stop one of the most dominant players in the game." The Bucks sort of stopped themselves because they just weren't ready for Game 1 against the Boston Celtics team that served them that adversity, that team that has more experience. Game 2, even in that first quarter, Giannis wasn't really himself, but they just sort of found their way into the second quarter. Was it Giannis opening up the floor with his drives for his three-point shooters that happened first, or the three-point shooters opening up the lanes for Giannis? This sort of happened simultaneously, but I think Giannis' his aggressiveness made those shots open for Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe and those guys, because it starts with him, and he was just being smarter about it. I mean, he got swiped in the first quarter by Jason Tatum when he went to the left side of the hoop with a right-handed dunk. What's that?
We had the shimmy from Giannis.
Yeah, he was hitting threes out there. He was feeling good in the second half. But it is ones, and now Boston finally is facing some adversity in this playoffs as well. So will they bounce back? Probably.
Yeah. In Game 1, in the restricted area, Giannis shot 4 of 15. That was just weird. Now, some of that was Al Horford. Some of that all the defenders they were throwing at him. But he also missed some that he generally hits. In Game 2, less, but a whole bunch of free throws. You got 18 free throws in this game. That is a lot in a playoff game. Because he attacked, and if he wasn't setting up his guys outside. Yeah, it was a nice bounce-back performance. There's no stopper. There's just slowers from game to game. Is that sort of what you were saying?
Yeah. There's a plug that you can plug in, but sometimes you pull it out and the water just runs down.
Next one.
That's the most confused I've ever been on this show.
Well,
Kyrie Irving leads the Celtics in postseason scoring and assists, but last night his third eye was cloudy. Irving scored just 9 points on 4 of 18 shooting, and the passing wasn't much better. 4 assists to 3 turnovers on a night when many of his passes missed the mark. Guys, true or false, the Celtics need playoff Kyrie to win?
I think that's false, actually. I mean, when you look at the regular season, I know this is a different beast in the postseason. The regular season, Kyrie's stats were pretty similar in wins and losses. He shot the ball better in wins, but I think you could look at any superstar and they're generally going to shoot better in the wins. But across the board, points, rebounds, assists, pretty similar. But what was weird is Game 1, I was sitting here talking about wow, that may have been Kyrie's best game of the season in terms of just dominating the flow of the game, the tempo and all that, setting up guys, still playing a little hero ball when needed. But in Game 2, this may have been his worst game of his season, one of his worst games of his playoff career. So that was strange. I think a big credit goes to the Bucks defense, switching a lot of their defense in Game 2 here, sort of took the Celtics out of the funk. Yeah, no, he's not the Kyrie stopper, but a very, very bad game and some bad shots even, and Kyrie can hit some crazy shots, but not the greatest looks. It was just sort of a little perplexing. I do like that he's owning it, though. After the game, he's like, look, this is on me, my responsibility. I'll bounce back. I was made for this. Let's go. So this is a part of the quote. He loves it. So I like that. This is what I signed up for. So I'm not too worried about him going back to Boston.
Yeah, well, I think they do need him, though, to be obviously much better than he was last night, because in that game one, he took it on his shoulders to say, I'm going to get this team off to a good start. I'm going to get back down, get some shots going.
They got off to a good start in game 2.
Well, they got off to a good start. He didn't get off to a great start, though. And then it's funny how contagious it is, bad shooting, because last night in game 1, a lot of the Celtics were hitting shots. Game 2, no one could hit a shot. You know, Tatum hasn't had a good series so far. They need his offensive production. So 1-1 in this series. Again, I think Boston will still be pretty happy with their position. They got the split, and now they're going home to a very, very intimidating environment. And that's where Kyrie can really light it up. And if he gets going, then look for Jaylen Brown and look for Jason Tatum to also start hitting shots, because I think that's what's going to happen. So he can kind of infect his other players with his good play. And last night didn't have it so much, and the other guys didn't have it either.
Trey, final one.
It wasn't just Giannis who balled out for the Bucks last night. Chris Middleton also hit 7 threes on his way to 28 points. Eric Bledsoe scored 21. Brook Lopez hit 3 threes. George Hill chipped in 10 points. Even Pat Connaughton and Tony Snell made threes. Guys, true or false? The Bucks supporting cast won game 2.
Middleton was huge. He sort of played like more of a prototypical superstar than Giannis did, just kind of coming up to the three-point line, through the legs, bang, in guys' eyes. He just had a great flow about him. Giannis was opening lanes for him, but Middleton was great. I think the best sign for the Bucks in this game, though, wasn't Chris Middleton, because he's a steady Freddy. He's going to be there. It's Eric Bledsoe. Going back to Boston, where there were some nightmares last year in the postseason, he didn't start the game that well in this one. A couple ugly turnovers, and you started to worry, is this bad Bledsoe back? But he started to score. And yeah, 5 assists versus 4 turnovers, not a good number, but I think he's got the monkey off his back, hopefully for him, because in Boston was terrible.
He's got to be aggressive, though, in Boston. That's what he's got to be, because last year he missed a couple of shots early and he just went into his shell. He's got that big body. He can get inside. He's got those long arms. He's got to be able to be aggressive and scoring early on, because Giannis didn't have a huge game. These other guys did, which made it, by committee.
I am looking forward to a game in this series when both teams play well on the same night, and hopefully we get that in games 3 or 4 back in Boston, because it's been 2 blowouts so far. We got a lot to take a break. Lots still to come. When we come back, Tass and I, man, we got to step into the crossfire. We're going to debate which second-round series here is most likely to go to Game 7, baby. Nothing easy. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Crossfire. Here's how it works. I'll give these 2 guys 3 questions, and at the end of it all, I will declare a winner like Ed Malloy. I'll give one of them a tea like that. No, I won't. Okay, question 1. We're deep into the second round of the playoffs with many intriguing battles forming. Of the 4 conference semi-final series, which is likely to go to Game 7, baby? Game 7! Here we go.
Nothing easy. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Celtics-Bucks as the most likely to go to the distance. Go to Game 7, baby. It happened last year when they met in the first round of the playoffs. Both teams held home court in that series, so we're already off to a little different start here, but we've had 2 blowouts. We're due for some close games. I just see them maybe doing the old alternating of games here as they counter and make adjustments. You got star players, role players stepping up on some nights, not others. I like that series.
I think it's Blazers-Nuggets. The Blazers injuries are really showing through in this series. Yusuf Nurkic is out at center. Enes Kanter, not a stalwart on defense, is now out there trying to guard Nikola Jokic while he's injured. But this guy, Damian Lillard, this is his playoffs, and he is going to drag it to 7 games. There is no possible way he's not going to do that. And when we get to Game 7, we'll see who wins. Dame could win it.
Okay. Question 2. For the first time in 9 seasons, LeBron James won't be on the team in the East representing in the NBA Finals. Instead, it'll be either Bucks, Celtics, Raptors, or Sixers. Of those teams, which is the best? And you can't say Raptors, Skeets. Here we go.
It definitely is the Raptors.
Tess wins. Give him the belt.
Maybe people forgot that Kawhi Leonard is this good because he hasn't been able to show out in a couple postseasons. This guy is the best player in the Eastern Conference. And now he's got a guy who's a number 2 in Pascal Siakam, and a guy who's really comfortable being a number 3 because he's got a superstar with him in Kyle Lowry. Kawhi Leonard, no disrespect to Giannis, Embiid, Kyrie, he is the best player. Double team him, he'll just drop 31 on you like he did in Game 2.
I like that pick, Tass. I like that pick a lot, but here's my actual answer. Who cares, Lee? That's a dumb question you just asked us. Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Why not?
Because the Warriors are going to win the title. They're going to
matters
beat
for
the Rockets.
Crossfire, I tell ya.
They're going to beat the Rockets, then they're going to beat the Nuggets or the Blazers, and then they're going to beat whoever comes out of the East. I hope it's the Raptors, but it ultimately doesn't matter.
No confidence in the Raptors?
It doesn't. That's right.
All right. Question 3. Good news for Draymond Green and Nene as they had their technical fouls from last night rescinded today. With that in mind, what's a playoff hot take that you've made that you'd like to rescind? Here we go.
Well, my hot take, my prediction was OKC beating the Blazers in the first round. I'd like to take a mulligan on that one, please. Take that one back. In hindsight, I wish I looked at those teams heading into the playoffs a little more because the Blazers were playing good without Nurkic even, McCollum banged up, and the Thunder were not. But I was like, oh, regular season means something. They had swept them, and I went with OKC. Dumb. Dame shut us all up. I got to go with that one.
I don't know if it was my head or my heart, but deep down when DeMar got traded from his one true love to San Antonio, I thought he would win them a playoff series, just one playoff series. And he had a chance in Game 7 against the Nuggets. Final few minutes, he couldn't find it. Listen, he was good in that series. It wasn't bad at all, 22 points on 49%. But I thought he would win one, just one. So I'm going to take that one back, unfortunately.
Well, Tassie, he might not have won one, but guess who did? You did!
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to fake me out right there. Thought it was going to ski. I don't get a T?
Yeah, a T for Tass.
Thank you.
Very soft play when we return. We asked you, what's your favorite ref move? You hit us up on Twitter. What do you got, Trey?
Some great answers, starting with a ref joining in on the Ref You Suck chant. Ref You Suck, very good. My favorite that somebody submitted was Bill Kennedy's full extension block call, but by far the most requested was Courtney Kirkland going and playing defense on the free throw like Chris Humphries. Classic moment.
All right, Lily, VSP.
Yeah, we're going out to Oakland for one here from the Warriors. Now it ends in a dunk. I'll give you a bit of a spoiler there, but it's still a beautiful play. Look at the ball just fizz around here, and it's Draymond looking great, looking fantastic. That diet's working. That's what I call a very solid play.
Also very solid, the amount of wedgies we're getting here in the postseason. Another wedgie in that Rockets-Warriors game. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller on the call.
Are you saying Reggie or Wedgie? I'll let you guess. Otherwise, a Wedgie. And I believe that is a wedgie. The starters are going to be happy that we keep saying that. I love the starters.
Thank you, Kevin. We love you too, and we love you as well, Reggie. 4th during the postseason.
We're going to do it.
Ticking up towards 50. We're ticking.
4 to go. All right, tonight we've got Game 2 between the Blazers and Nuggets on TNT. Gets underway at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6:30. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you then.
Thanks for joining us, and you can watch Game 1 of Trailblazers Nuggets right now on NBA TV within an hour. Shorten it down.
Brace the night, people.
Yeah, yeah. Tricky.